Have you ever wondered what the worst prison food in the world looks like? Quite the thought to ponder, isn't it? Today we're embarking on a culinary journey of a different kind, one that takes us behind the bars and into the heart of prison kitchens. We're talking about prison food, a subject that often gets overlooked. Food, as we all know, is a basic human right. It's not just about filling the belly, but nutrition plays a crucial role in maintaining health, both physical and mental. Unfortunately, in many prison systems across the globe, the importance of this vital element is often understated. Prison meals, more often than not, fall short of providing the necessary nutrients, leaving inmates malnourished and health compromised. But what exactly does prison food look like? How bad can it get? Well, brace yourselves, folks. Let's dive into the unappetizing world of prison meals, shall we? Starting off our list, we have the basic American prison meal. Picture this: a plate slapped with processed meat, a side of white bread, and a helping of canned vegetables. It's a far cry from your favorite home-cooked meal, isn't it? This is the standard fare in many American prisons, a meal that's as bland as it is unappetizing. The processed meat, often mystery meat, has little to no nutritional benefit, and the taste leaves much to be desired. The white bread, stripped of its natural nutrients and fiber, is a hollow source of carbs. And the canned vegetables? Well, they're often overcooked to the point of losing any real nutritional value they once had. This is a meal that's more about sustenance than satisfaction. It's about filling the stomach, not fueling the body. It's a reminder of the harsh realities of prison life. Certainly not a meal to look forward to, but it gets worse. Moving across the pond, we have the infamous British prison porridge. Picture a bowl of oatmeal that's been watered down to the point where it's barely recognizable. It's a far cry from the hearty, warming breakfast dish you might be imagining. Instead, it's a gloopy, tasteless substance, often served with a side of equally stale bread for added disappointment. The porridge lacks any semblance of flavor or texture, with inmates often describing it as akin to eating wallpaper paste. But the real kicker? This porridge provides minimal nutritional value. It's not just about the taste, or lack thereof, but also the fact that it does little to sustain the body or mind. This is a meal that's not just disappointing to the palate, but also to the health and well-being of those consuming it. As we delve deeper into the world of prison foods, it's clear that the issue extends far beyond just taste. If you thought the American meal was bad, the British porridge might make you think twice. Heading east, we find ourselves faced with the Russian prison soup. This soup, as it's referred to, is a thin, watery concoction that more closely resembles dishwater than a meal. It's typically comprised of a few floating vegetables, if you're lucky enough to find them, and a piece of bread that's often stale. This so-called soup is more a test of your survival instincts than a source of nutrition. The absence of other essential nutrients is glaringly apparent, making the consumption of this meal a daily struggle. The unappetizing appearance doesn't help either. The soup is a murky gray color with bits of indistinguishable matter floating around. The bread, usually a stale lump, serves as the only solid component of this meal. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, we come to our final and most terrible prison meal. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the worst prison food in the world, North Korean corn rice. Imagine a meal that is more a survival necessity than a source of nourishment. That's North Korean corn rice for you. A staple in the country's prisons, it's a blend of corn and rice. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's anything like the corn rice dishes you might find elsewhere. This dish is often riddled with weevils and other insects. It's not an added protein source, but rather a reflection of the horrific conditions in which the food is prepared and stored. Insects find their way into the meal, becoming an unwanted part of the dining experience. The corn rice is far from being nutritionally balanced. The corn is usually of the lowest quality, rejected by most for consumption, and the rice is hardly better. Together they provide minimal nutritional value, barely enough to keep the body functioning. It's a harsh reality that the prisoners have to face meal after meal, day after day. The preparation and serving conditions of this meal are equally appalling. The corn rice is often cooked in large quantities in unsanitary conditions with no regard for basic food safety practices. It's then served in a manner that strips away any remaining dignity from the prisoners, reinforcing their harsh reality. The taste, as you can imagine, is far from appetizing. The blend of low-quality corn and rice, combined with the presence of insects, results in a meal that is more of a punishment than a necessity. Yet, it's all that many prisoners in North Korea have to look forward to when it comes to their daily sustenance. There you have it, the most terrible prison food in the world, It's a grim reminder of the harsh realities of prison life, and a call to action for better nutrition and conditions for prisoners worldwide. As we conclude our gastronomic journey through the world's prisons, it's clear that prison food is a far cry from gourmet. We've seen the not-so-great American prison meal, reminiscent of school lunches at their worst. We've tasted the disappointing British porridge, a bland and watery gruel that's far from the comforts of home. We've braved the horrifying Russian prison soup, a murky concoction that would make even the most adventurous eater wince. And we've witnessed the North Korean corn rice, a meal that's more akin to livestock feed than human food. These meals lack not only in taste but also in essential nutrients, leaving inmates malnourished and underserved. This isn't just a culinary issue but a human rights one. The need for reform and improved conditions is undeniable. While these meals may be hard to stomach, it's important to remember the human rights issues at stake. Better prison food is not a luxury, but a necessity. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.